Congratulations on this project. It's amazing. I learned a lot about Stephen King that I did not know from this project. Like a lot of the people in this documentary, I was introduced to Stephen King at a very early age. I first started reading him before I started watching the movies. I guess let's start off with how you got introduced to Stephen King.
Well, actually, I discovered Stephen King for the first time when I was 10, when my father actually gave me the book The Shining to read. And that's the first time that I met Stephen King. And the funny fact is that he was working that night shift in a hotel at that time. So it was like kind of a shining atmosphere at home in the hotel. So yeah, I discovered him for the first time like this, and then I started to read all the books and watch all the movies pretty much at the same time, and that's how I really discovered his work and became aware of how big it is.
Definitely, and there's a lot of big names in this documentary. A lot of the experts of horror. What was it like to work with such an amazing group?
Well, it was really great. It was an amazing adventure because we had the chance to meet great directors when we
Mhm.
made the interviews. But then when we shot the fictional introduction in Maine, having all those actors, those great actors on the set, it was almost surreal, you know. Having James Caan doing a voice, especially for us, like it was something so incredible. I mean, really, and the Wallace, Tim Curry, who we will always think of his performance in Hits, for example. So yeah, it's an experience, a lifetime experience. Yeah.
A lot of these people talked about their favorite Stephen King story. What's some of your favorite stories from Stephen King?
I really love The Green Mile. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Actually, I really love it. I love a lot of his work. I think Misery is great. I think well there are a lot of great films and a lot of great books. So it's not easy to pick. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for The Green Man.
Awesome. And Stephen King does a lot of cameos in a lot of these films. Do you have a favorite cameo of his?
Well, I think he was great in Finner when he's playing the pharmacist. I think it was a nice cameo, and in the new It, I really enjoyed as well because it was completely unexpected. So yeah.
Awesome. And a lot of the subjects in this documentary talked a lot about how horror is supposed to put a mirror into reality and make you think about why it's terrifying you. And I think a lot of these people really explain how well Stephen King was able to describe what's going on in his books to the point where we're seeing a lot of what he wrote actually like happening in real life. Did you expect people to talk about this so much throughout this entire project?
Well, actually, when I was uh, writing the questions, when you are meeting the directors, there are certain directions that you take when you are talking about the movies and when you are making the interviews. And for sure, when you meet some of the directors who did great movies, for example, Taylor Axford, who directed Dolores Claiborne. It's a movie that I really love too, and I knew that having him in the film was a great chance because his work is great, and it was also the possibility to talk about female characters in Stephen King's work, and also how he directed a great movie with where there are only female characters almost. I mean, the three main roles are female characters. So I thought it was, yeah, very interesting, and talking about the politics as well. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything you learned about Stephen King throughout this process?
Well, I think we learned a lot about, Stephen King in general and his work. Well, we were quite, we learned a lot of anecdotes, a lot about the process of adaptation as well, when you talk to filmmakers who are so passionate about their work. So yeah, it was such a great experience.
And what do you hope people will take away from watching this film?
Well, I think they will, if they want to open a book written by Stephen King or watch a movie, I think it's great, because it's what it's supposed to. Well, that's what we wanted to do actually, but also to have a new vision about Stephen King, a new way of seeing him. I mean, he was one of the first American author to give voices to minorities, for example, in his stories, and true voices. And it's something that I really enjoy in his work as well. Yeah.
Awesome. And which one of the cast, well, which one of the subjects are you most proud of having heard from and having gotten the experience to talk to?
Which person you mean?
Yeah. Which
Well,
person from the documentary? Yeah.
I mean, we met a lot of great directors, and I think it's difficult to choose one or two. I mean, obviously, Frank Darabont is my favorite director since I was a child, so it was so great to have him in the documentary. But you know, like meeting with Greg Nicotero was amazing, and who has done such a great work as well. And he's a great director. He's a great human being. It's the same for Mick Garris. It's the same for. I mean, it's such a great experience, and we had the chance to meet really great person, really great human beings, and it's the thing we are really the most happy about. It's the fact that we were really happy to have this really human connection.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for your time. This documentary is incredible. Stephen King has been one of my favorite writers since I was a kid, and I learned so much more about him through this. So thank you very much for this project.
Yeah, thank you so much.